Are you looking for valuable business advice to reach that 7-figure revenue mark? Do you want actionable tips to properly navigate through every business challenge you encounter along the way? Let Tersh Blissett and Josh Crouch be your guide in getting you to the top here at Service Business Mastery. Tune in as they sit down with world-renowned authors in business, leadership, and personal growth who share valuable insights about management, marketing, pricing, human resources, and so much more. Let their nuggets of wisdom gold guide you in owning a thriving, profitable, and ever-growing business. Here are your hosts, Tersh and Josh.
Hello, and out there in podcast world, I hope you're having a wonderful day. You're listening to or watching the Service Business Mastery podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tersh Blissett, sitting not virtually next to my co-host, Joshua Crouch, and the lovely Miss Lori Tschohl. Nailed it. Lori is the winner of the Service World Woman of the Year award last night at the gala, at the Women HVACr gala event for 2022. Man, that is a lot to remember for somebody who has a speech impediment and dyslexia. That's a massive mouthful. Yeah. But so last night it was really cool. I was up front. I was moving all over the place taking photos, but as soon as your name was announced, you're like you could just see the shock and awe on your face. But we're super honored for you to come on the show. Thank you so much for taking time out of this event. This event's kind of a wild thing, and it's been an amazing event. And from what I've heard, you kind of joined forces and jumped in both feet and kind of took the bull by the horn and ran with it. But because you haven't been in the industry a whole long time, but you made a huge splash since you've been here. But with that being said, I welcome you to the show, and if you wouldn't mind, give us a quick introduction of yourself and who you are and what you're all about.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm honored. My name is Lori Tschohl. I have a HVAC and commercial gas piping business outside of Seattle, Washington, 100% woman-owned. The trades have not been my prior career. I actually retired in 2011 and said, what should I do with my life?
Glutton for punishment?
Well, and you know what? My passion is travel. And so after traveling the world so many times, I said, I can't afford myself anymore. I have to go back to work. Even though I did sell my $10 million company, and I had McDonald's restaurants. So it was a franchisee.
That's a lot of fun. So you experienced having to deal with HVAC equipment even back then and gas piping a little bit, I'm sure.
So I started in the McDonald's system many years ago, where we were still as store managers getting up on rooftops and changing my own fan belts. I was fortunate enough to be a field service manager up in Alaska, and when things break down in Alaska, you try to, figure out.
Got to figure it out.
And as a McDonald's franchisee, I did a lot of stuff with the McDonald's buildings and designs, and so I have a little bit of that type of background, but not actually HVAC.
Yeah. Very cool. So tell us about your business and kind of how you got into the HVAC world, from going from retired to HVAC. And then tell us how you got involved with Women HVACr.
Sure. So I have this, I call it my long journey. And it starts with burgers to bangles to gas pipes, a lifelong business lesson. And
it sounds like you've done this once or twice.
I think I have. and I've actually done it for Women HVACr a few years ago at a conference. That was a member spotlight. And I'm like, what's going to be my title? So
awesome.
I started out with McDonald's, spent many years. Sold my companies in Buffalo, New York, went back to my wonderful home state of Washington, where I wanted to be. And like I said, I had retired. And in the meantime, I said, I'm looking for something. And I stumbled across Pandora jewelry. Thought, I can do jewelry.
Yeah.
Lots of it. It's beautiful.
I like it.
Not the best business decision I made.
No.
I spent a lot of money looking at a lot of pretty things that stay in cabinets, but you don't always have that money in the bank.
Yeah.
So after doing that for a while, I had said to my brother, who's been in this industry for, now he corrects me, it's 43 years.
Yeah.
And I said, why do you he had his own company, and then he went and worked, he was in a partnership doing some different things. And I'm like, you need to be working for yourself. I have all the business background from running various businesses that I have started, and he's that technician.
Yeah.
And so we decided that I was going to start my company and he was going to come work for me. And so as we stand today, we started really 2015. I opened it up, and there was three of us. There was myself and my brother out there working hard. And finally, on Craigslist, I found my amazing. Uh, she came in as like an office CSR type. Last month, we promoted her to operations manager.
Oh, wow.
So she's been with me for 7 years. So while she was figuring out how to run this business, because she came from a medical background, I'd be in Boise or Salt Lake. I'd be selling Pandora jewelry, and all of a sudden it's like, what? I have to get a mechanical or a gas piping permit? Like, I don't know how to do this.
Right.
So then I run to the back room and like try to figure it out. So 2019, I unloaded all these other businesses, went down to one, and so I stepped in really 2019. And
Yeah.
ever since that point, we've been moving pretty quickly.
You are definitely a mover and a shaker, and you don't take no for an answer. So we asked you this earlier just to kind of get an idea of what you would think about or say, and I loved your response, and I love the fact that, and I'm not going to give it away. When you think about something in the industry that's really like a pain point or something that really kind of you feel like you're stuck on an island by yourself and you don't really have any support, what can you share an experience where you felt that way or done anything in that realm in the HVAC world?
So when I think about as I have gone into this business, and I had to educate myself and get up to speed very, very quickly. So I utilized my resources. The minute I heard women in HVACr, I said, I need to be in that group. And so joined this group probably around 2018. And I never think of myself as being on an island and there's a pain point, because I can always go out and I can reach out to folks. I can network and find an answer. Sometimes I will get, you can't do that. I'm like, well, what do you mean I can't do that?
A little bit.
And I think some of it has to do with not being in this industry. I don't see any barriers.
Oh, right. So you're not.
Because you haven't been in it for 25 years.
Right.
You were told no so many times you couldn't do something.
You're not pre-programmed with the. Exactly. I love that. So it's so often that even technicians, they're like, oh, you can't do this, or like, oh, I'm going to start my business, but I can't start a remote business because that's not normal. And so I was like, try me. I'm going to do it, especially now that you told me I can't do it. So share your journey into women in HVACr.
So I attended one of the first conferences. When I went, it was in Denver, and I thought, wow, what a group of strong, powerful women. And in my previous life, I was on the board of, it was called WN, Women Operators Network. So we had a very similar type of organization with McDonald's. So when I retired and sold my companies, I had gone up to vice president level, sat on the board, and we put on conferences for up to like 600 women. So we were pretty strong and growing. We also had, vendors, distributors that worked with the McDonald's system. But I've always mentored women.
Mm-hmm.
From the time I was a McDonald's store manager in all the different levels. So there was a lot of learnings that I could take with me. So when I came to Women in HVACr, first it was just to get to know folks. And then from there I went into Service Nation Alliance, and they were very convincing that I shouldn't just do gas piping. I should be doing more HVAC. And so they also have a women's group that I was a part of. And then I now mentor that group.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called 8080, Advisory Board 80. So every Thursday, there's 30 to 40 women on a Zoom call. Sometimes there's more. We have about 125 members. It's specifically for Service Nation Alliance, and it can be anybody in the office.
Mm-hmm.
And so very active with that group. And then I was asked to be on the board for Women in HVACr, which I was very honored. So this is my first year, and I'm looking forward to 2023 because I think we'll have a lot more positions available.
Well, share about that award that you received.
So my award was really from Service Nation Alliance, and that's why I think I was so shocked.
That's what, because it's Service World Award and Woman of the Year, and so that's really cool.
Yeah, so they select one woman every year based on more of the residential industry who has gone over and above and beyond. And I think I feel real fortunate because I've done a lot of mentorship with women within that group, and they help me do like some success days because everybody goes like, "What's your story?" And then I start, and they're like, "What? How do you get from McDonald's to jewelry to now you're doing gas pipes? Like, how does that work?" So I guess it's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
it's interesting when you've been in the industry and you because you hear a lot of stories and it's a unique story.
Seeing you come from outside the industry, not because your dad had the company and you came in, or because you were a CSR at 19 and worked your way up, but you had retired and then you came in later in life, which is a really cool story to hear, which is awesome. You're gonna say something?
No.
Oh, okay. Shoot. Of course, I just lost my.
Yeah.
Just
like you talk.
Just let you talk.
No, it's okay. Well, what I was going to tell you is that we were all down at Service World in
Oh, I was going to ask you, were you there in Tampa a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago? I was there too.
So I was asked to do processes and procedures, and so the first
I don't think anything you probably wouldn't know anything about that.
No, not at all. I wonder why they selected me. So when the call came through, I said, like, I didn't hesitate, and then I said, "Oh, what did I just do?"
Right.
And so I didn't hesitate, and I said, "Yes," but I called Alicia, my operations manager, and I said, "Oh no, you're going with me." I said, because I don't need the spotlight to get up there. I said, but I want to start mentoring you so you can public speak and get used to that. So as we were putting together this presentation, that was a lot of fun. And when we started our presentation, we had a room full of people, so we were very excited that anybody would even want to come talk to us. And when I started, I said, I didn't come from a generational company.
Mm-hmm.
I went from zero, like I had nothing. And I had to learn, educate, and her and I, we took this ride together, and now we're standing here in front of you. And so that's kind of been really exciting because it's a constant learning process.
So tell me this, as far as when you're growing and having growing pains in general, having that, because you've grown significantly over the period of how many years it's been? 7 years or?
Yeah, so it's been like 7 years we started the company, but I didn't really step in until May of 2019. That's when I stepped in and did full-time best effort. Prior to that, I was kind of your
half.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
So I mean, the amount of growth that you've had and it's not residential necessarily, quote unquote residential, because you do gas piping projects too. How did that come about? Like, how do you? That seems like a very niche audience that you almost need to be in with the.
It's almost like a
good old boy system or something like that. It feels that way. I don't know anything about gas piping, so
it's a total good old boy system.
I was going to say because that's probably more like union and stuff like that. It gets into that stuff, right?
And I've had my encounters with the union, and they
know who
probably
Lori
don't
is.
think me of.
They know who Lori is.
Oh, no, the electrical union does, and the gas piping union does.
Nice.
And remember how earlier we were talking about, like, I don't have like any preconceived notions. I went in and I had a couple of union meetings, and I think anybody that has ever worked in the union, been part of the union, their fathers were union, there's almost like this, like, say that.
Mm-hmm.
So I went in, I said, "Hey,
don't know what you can say and can't say."
And so I was saying, I said it to all of them. I wonder why I got an audit last year when I was 1 year in the electrical union. I just wonder why.
Yeah.
Of all the companies, right?
Out of all the companies, 1 year. But anyways, that's a whole nother topic for another day. That's a whole other podcast. But so I think a lot of it has to do with, you come in, you understand this business. I'm always trying to educate myself. Podcasts, training, learning, developing, because otherwise I can't go out there and leave my company. And I'm at the point right now where my operations manager, she is strong enough that she can run a lot of the day-to-day stuff, and then I can do what I like to do. And I do tons of community, and it really helps not only our business, because we're in kind of smaller, remote areas, but it's great for the community.
Yeah, the philanthropy.
Yeah.
Stuff. Yeah. So would you be okay with sharing the feedback that you got from the person that worked at McDonald's?
Oh, now you're gonna make me cry.
Yeah, so,
no.
yeah, I
So-
got tissues over here somewhere.
Okay, all right, all right. I'll try to get through this without it. But and what we're talking about here is I received this amazing award, and I was so excited because a young lady worked for me, and when she reminded me it was 38 years ago, I said, "Oh my gosh, okay, I am really old." But so this morning she said, "Good morning, Lori, and congrats on your award. I was reading your post, reflecting on your impact on my own life. As a 17-year-old kid, you arrived at my store and created a passion for service and knowledge. You may not have known it at the time, but you're my first mentor. You were kind but resolute about the mission. I'm successful as a director of customer success and experience, in good part to the foundation you helped build. Thank you for almost 38 years. I still adore you." So
Wow.
that was, yeah, it was
Yeah.
so exciting to know that 38 years ago.
Heck, yeah, crazy. Yeah.
I mean, and those are the things in life that ends up being about. You can get all the money. All the money in the world
I
can't.
mean, money is nice.
That it is nice.
I like having
It
that.
is nice,
I
but
love them.
but when it comes to something like that,
Yeah.
and,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and you make an impact that lasted their entire life, their entire adult life at this point, there's just, I don't know if there's a better feeling that something like that to have that level of impact on somebody. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
That says a lot, though. The fact that she responded that way and you received the award, so it's like, oh yeah, this is definitely a deserving award. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. So what? So you've seen the first couple events. Like Denver, what year was Denver? Denver was a couple years ago, right?
I think it was like 2018.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you've seen it from there
Yeah.
to just this short period of time. What's your takeaway from seeing this event?
Well, the growth is phenomenal. And being part of the conference team this year and also on the board, it's amazing. And when I think back, they had a few scholarships, and now we had 6 scholarships, $5,000 each. The mentoring, the membership, the ambassadors program, and how the entire organization has grown.
That's great.
Yeah, and that's what. And even next year, it's even going to be larger. In fact, we're talking now. We have to get some of these places in the next few years because at some point we're going to be so large.
Yeah, it's
We're
going to be
like
a
with the big guys.
conference center,
Yeah.
big conference center.
Yeah, we'll have to be like
convention center.
Orlando.
Yeah,
or
Atlanta.
someplace big.
Yeah.
No, and
Where's next year going to be at? You know?
I haven't decided yet.
Savannah.
Yeah, well, no, I don't know about Savannah.
Yeah, Savannah.
We're yeah,
Savannah.
no. I don't think so. And I don't know about Nashville because we're doing some other things down there. We're trying to give people an opportunity in different parts of the country. But
Oh, yeah.
I like that you guys are moving around. So last year's Tampa, there's Denver, you guys in Boston.
Boston.
So you guys literally Chicago.
yeah, and I think you just think about the East, Midwest,
Yeah, try to make it work. Different parts of the country can.
and
And
time of
maybe-
year.
yeah.
Time of year because this is late, but there's so many things going on September, October. So
Mhm.
when it's November, not that Phoenix has been warm. but
I was going to
it's
say,
still
rained.
warm.
It has
has
rained
not.
on us. It has been freezing cold and it's been windy.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be 75.
Yeah. Miss Lori, congratulations, and we really do appreciate you hanging out with us. We'd love to talk to you more about it. If anybody wants to connect or learn more about Women in HVACr or learn more about you, what's the best place to let it happen?
So there's a couple ways. One, I absolutely can throw out my email because you can connect on LinkedIn, Facebook, or I can give you my email, which is my first name, LORI, at eaglepipemechanical.com. That way, if I can help in any way, just shoot me an email. Or you can go to the Women in HVACr website,
Mhm.
and you can connect also there. And we have all of our bios and profiles. And things like that.
Perfect. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
We appreciate you hanging out with us.
All right. We'll do it again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Service Business Mastery. Now that you are equipped with essential business advice from this impactful conversation, you are one step closer to becoming the successful owner of your dreams. If this episode has been helpful to your business journey, don't forget to subscribe to the show, leave a rating, and share it with other owners as well. Visit servicebusinessmastery.com to learn more.